Good evening, folks. How are you doing, Steelers out there? Hope you're doing all right. Bloody hell, there's a lot of you in already. What's that about? Some of you are pretty keen, aren't you? Who have we got in here? Well, hang on a second, Dave. Barnes, Nick, Drunken Strategos, Stephen, Steve, Charles. Who else? John. Who else? Sean. Is everything going to end? Bloody hell, you all been rattling on. Jonas, Bren. Evening, everybody. It's good to see you. Have you all? I hope you're all. I hope everyone's all right. Evening, Scott. Evening, everybody. I'm not going to go back through what you've been discussing because there's already loads of it. How is everyone tonight? Anyway, you all evening, Steelers, indeed. Hit the like button, folks. Thanks, John. What's everyone painting tonight? That's always the first question, and that's the way to kick things off. Tonight I've got a couple of things. I'm just kind of cleaning a bit of crap off my. I should have done this earlier. I just kind of started. I got into it. Evening, Andy. I'm on a concerted effort to get these 1/600th aircraft finished because I've been talking to Paul over at Sabotaged about getting some prices for the Battle of Britain stuff that I want, and he's given me a price for them, and I figure evening Steve, I want to do the Battle of Britain stuff, but in the supplement for Bag the Hun there is potentially 18 aircraft at a time on the table. You roll for sorties and things like that for the amount of aircraft that are coming in and doing things, and it's up to 18 aircraft. You can have up to 18 aircraft in each of your squadrons as well, your RAF squadrons. So I kind of wanted to. I thought, well, let's go whole hog, shall we? Evening, John, Clarkey, Orcs, rats, lots of rats. And I figured, so that's going to be 18 Heinkels, 18 Junkers, 18 Dorniers, 18 Spitfires, 18 Messerschmitts, 18 Stukers, etc, etc, etc. Walkabout evening. I've been working through some 10mm Vietnam miniatures, but I'm taking a break from painting a little. Evening, Rich M. Not currently painting, as on dinner. Due it is. Excellent. What are you having for dinner? Hopefully, get on the painting some more ratings after food. Want to be painter? Evening to you. Barnes is 15 Assyrian slingers. Excellent. A good mix of stuff. So yeah, these are the last of the Malaya project aircraft that I'm going to paint. Apart from I've actually got 12 more buffaloes. 12 more buffaloes. But I want to do those in American colours, and I haven't got any things yet for those. Jonas, I got a box of resin from Warlord Games, so I'll be gluing myself to things tonight. Good stuff. Evening, Andy. Good to see you the weekend, Andy. 50mm Finnish Rifle Company. No painting. I'll be telling how it says no trolls and some Wild West fencing to make. Good stuff. You're working on your ACW Union. Sorry, just take a drink there. So, earlier on, I kind of did the undersides of these wildebeests. So what I want to do is I want to actually just paint these, neaten them up, and then I'm going to start doing the. I don't think I'm going to get these finished tonight, but I want to do. I just want to get some of the camouflage onto them because then we're done. Evening, Paul. Sorry, I missed you at the weekend. Evening, Dougie. Working tonight, so you can play with tanks on Thursday. Good stuff. Yeah, looking forward to it. No painting, modifying MDF trays. Let's get first lot from all bases. Well, I forgot something that needs stacking props. Okay. More ACW Union. On point. Evening, Steve. Good to see you. 15mm Soviets for you tonight. Excellent. For O Group is that, Steve? It's not often that you make an appearance in our live chat, so it's nice to see you. Thanks for turning up. Right, so like I said, basically I'm doing these wildebeests. I'm just going to neaten them up at the moment, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the camo on the Blenheims. So I've got these Blenheims. These are the F1s, Mark 1Fs. Now these are the Night Fighter version, and I was looking at a photograph earlier of a colour photograph of 62 Squadron. It's Sembawang in Singapore in 1941, and I noticed that their undersides were painted in the duck egg blue that is the RAF usual underside scheme. But I've done these ones in black because I've got the other Blenheims, the Mark 1s, that are done in O group and bolt action mainly, of course. And they're done in blue, so I just kind of wanted to make them a bit different. So not 100% historically correct, but I'm fairly sure there would be at least one squadron with black undersided night fighter Blenheims kicking around in Singapore. So yeah, at the moment I just want to get the base colours down on these things, these Wildebeest, and then I can get these out of the walls. Are they new? They are kind of new. Yeah, I got these here a lot about O group. Is it any good for teaching my netting? I would say no, Scott. It's not good for teaching you 9-year-old. It's a bit complex, and there's lots of concepts in it that might be a little bit beyond a 9-year-old's ken. I would actually say, something like bolt action is probably a better learning game because it's a lot simpler in many ways. You know, you get a dice out of the bag and you do something with it. O group, there's quite a few steps. Yeah, the Wildebeest are quite new. They're the ones I got just a couple of weeks ago now, because Jim had only just done them recently, I think, or at least I'd only just got hold of them recently. And I like to upset Paul and make him do some weird things. But yeah, I got a little while ago. I just wanted to get them finished up. Where else were we up with it? Harpham, evening. Friends General Haig thought he saw might be painting epic TYW 10 Years War. I can't remember what it is. Finished first strip today. Excellent. 30 Years War, isn't it? More of Monmouth's Red Regiment for you tonight. Yeah, it was super busy Sunday, plus we left about 2ish. Yeah, I was there till about 4. How did I find... Oh, you're talking to Steve. How do, James? Good to have you on board. Hit the like button, don't forget, folks. There's 30 odd of you in there and only 18 likes. So, I was trying to find the colours for the Wildebeest, and the later ones have got that, I think it's the Fleet Air Arm, where they only kind of have the very top half of them done, but the earlier camos seem to be all over the body, so I'm kind of just going with that, I think. It's hard to nail them down because they don't seem to be a particularly popular aircraft for modelers, which is always a good way to get things. I had someone playing at your first O group game convention who said, "This won't work for my group. We can't think this hard." There's a lot of decisions. Evening War Games, no. Some Battletech for you tonight. Need a palette cleanser from Historicals. I'm not surprised after all the ones you've been painting, James. Got a windmill in a blockhouse I need to build. MDF 15mm Cowboys. Good shout. Could do bolt action 15mm. Has a ton of 50mm Flames of War vehicles and spare infantry. Yeah, I think it would, for a nipper, I would say that, yeah, it's a good introductory game. I was at the Games Expo last year, and I was teaching people how to play it, and I literally read the rules before we started playing, and that was, you know, as far as it went, my learning of it. So you can pick it up pretty quick. I mean, obviously there's always nuance in all of these rules, but the general basics for what a 9-year-old would want out of a war game would be dead easily covered. But yeah, I'm just going to be a little bit careful because I'm just trying to do bits and pieces. Evening, Terry. Good to have you on board. So, who out there went to parties on this weekend? That's the question. And what did you think of it? And if you didn't go, have you watched my video? And what did you think of that? That's the other thing. It's certainly my favourite of the shows in the UK, Partisan. I think it's fantastic. Bewildering, not having a set uniform stick make your brain malfunction. I don't like doing that either, like when you're painting civilians. Bolt actions are nice again for learning. Less thinking, need to pick it up, especially for a young one. Yeah, exactly. How do, Louis, baby? You alright? Good to have you on board. We'll be here till 11 tonight. No, we won't, because I'm knackered. I had a crap sleep last night. So, don't expect a long one. Or a late one. But you'll get one at least. Nothing else. Where we at? He does enjoy playing tanks with Gale Force 9. Yeah, I think. Nick, yeah, you were busy. I think I might have seen you actually, Nick. I think you were probably chatting to the Lordies though, and I was busy doing something else. I'm sure I saw you from the other side of the room, and then you disappeared again. I'd have said hello if I'd have seen you up close. Good video, some excellent icon inspiration in that. Cheers. Yeah, it's a great. Didn't go. Yes, watch the video. Good stuff. Didn't go, but watch the video. Good stuff. It seems to be a great show. Didn't see much. I just managed to pop to Warbrace to collect your order. Some heavy stuff though. What you did see, well, that's what the video's there for, James. But yeah, it was a cracking show as always. Never disappoints. And the fact it's only an hour away makes it even better. Although I was absolutely shattered by the end of it. And it takes a while just to go around, just filming everything. Because you don't want to really be interrupting people's games either, that's the other thing. But by the end of the afternoon, I was kind of about 2ish. Sorry, it was okay. It had quieted down quite a lot. You do usually do thin out by afternoon, so you could just get to the tables. But a lot of people were packing up as well. Oh man, Bulldog Spirit, it's 12. Partisan show looks amazing. Selection of tables great. Yes, it is. It's well worth going to, even if you just do it once. It only stayed till about 2. I've worn out by then. Yeah, I could tell you. First got table was great. Got some ethically sourced teddy bear fur to have a go with. Good stuff. Sashiel, evening. Good to have you on board. Don't forget to hit that like button. I'll keep telling you if you don't do it. So I could use these wildebeest. These are torpedo carrying versions. So I could use these as some kind of attack on Japanese shipping. That would be an interesting bag the Hun scenario. I have to get some Japanese landing craft, and also I've been thinking as well, if I'm doing Battle of Britain, I'm probably going to need to get a blue sea mat, aren't I, with hexes on as well. It's only right, isn't it? Couldn't believe the size of the queue. Yeah. When the second part is on, is it any different? It is different. But I can't remember why. I think they do have different games on, I think, and different traders. I think it's in October. I could be wrong. I think it's around October because I was booking a talk in earlier on today, and that was in October, and I saw that it was in my calendar. It said the other parties on. I think it's later October. There you go, 8th of October. Couldn't believe the size of the queue. Yes, that's what I was going to react to. I got there purposely at 10:30 because I thought there's no point in me standing in the queue and waiting. And they were still queuing when I got there. Massive. And I saw somebody else's video. I think it was the Great Mim. He'd done a report of it, and there was some shots of the queue before, and it was massive. It was like round the. I think people were just happy to be out, weren't they? After COVID, I mean, it was the same with Salute. It was heaving, absolutely heaving. There was a funny thing at Salute. I was with Joe. We were showing that his chain of command game, and we were kind of just standing there, and it took about 5 minutes after the doors opened for people just to start squirming in. It was hilarious. Yeah, Hammerhead's more sci-fi and fantasy and more participation stuff as well. It's pretty most vast majority of its participation. You got some branches from a bush tree out front. You're going to try to make into wooden logs. Yeah, a good idea. Q went in pretty quick. Yeah, I mean it did, but it was just the size of it, the fact that there were so many people going, and it was rammed as well when I was in there, which is never a problem. It's good. It just shows that it's a very healthy hobby. I think we are absolutely living in a golden age of choice and stuff. You know what I mean? when previously would you be able to get a load of 1/600 scale wildebeest specifically for Malaya, for example? Alright, I know. Tumbling dice do them. Somebody does them. But, you know, that's not the point. Any event these days and people want to get out and do stuff, yeah, it's true that. I remember turning around from the game and couldn't believe how many people had piled in. Yeah, it was absolutely... couldn't breathe, and it got very hot as well. Very hot. Right. Who else is out there? Bloody hell, there's 40 of you watching. Hit the like button. You had to queue. YouTube star, you like yourself. Oh, I don't get special dispensation from Partisan. I do for Salute. I've got a press pass for Salute, but not for Partisan. I'm not the likes of Henry Hyde. He's the one that gets the the Partisan gig. Not me. I don't mind. £5 and it goes towards a good cause. I'm not bothered. In fact, I only spent £5 while I was there. All I bought was some more Japanese decals, and I've actually realised I bought too many of them. So I could have just spent £2.50 or £2.75 or however much they were. I bought 2 packs and I only really needed one. Sean's God's Own Scale and the Origins of Partisan. Yes, it was. I was listening to it just the other day, in fact. Excuse me. Sean was there. I was having a chat to him for a bit. I don't know how long he lasted for, but I was having a good catch up with him for a little while. I was telling him it was good that he was back. Good to have him back. In fact, actually, speaking of podcasts, both Sean and Ken's most recent episodes have been very, very good. The one with Paul from Early War Miniatures was very good. The one on Ken's Yorkshire Gamer podcast, really excellent. I'm still part way through it because it's so bloody long. You had your breakfast beforehand at a cafe in Newark and they all knew about it there. Really? Wow, that's amazing. UKG's a friend. Yeah. I'd certainly go, James. Games Expo. It's worth it just to go for a day. I mean, it's all board games. For the vast majority of it is board games anyway. But I'm a board games fan. So, but it is brilliant. It is really good. That is heaving as well, and absolutely full of stuff. You could just go and spend an entire weekend playing games if you wanted to. New games and different games, interesting games as well. Well worth checking out. And the fact it's only in Birmingham as well, it's not too far away from us up here. Have I ever looked into naval wargaming? Brett says. No, I haven't. I'm not that interested in it, to be fairly honest. It's not something that, excuse the pun, has ever floated my boat. I've played a couple of games of Kiss Me Hardy, and that's been about as far as I get to it, to be honest. And I really enjoyed those, but that, it's not something I really want to. I didn't go out and buy the rules and start buying a load of galleons and stuff. It's just something I'm not that fussed about. It's because I'm not particularly interested in naval actions from a historical point of view. It's good to have Sean's podcast back on. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I had the Early War podcast on the way down to Newark as well. I am still listening to it. There's about another half an hour or so left to go, I think. That's a good thing with my job. I do a lot of driving, so I can catch up with lots of podcasts when I'm going up to Scotland and places. Whoever Kent have the Bismarck variants up, he does. Sean and Ken are some absolutely brilliant people on. I have no idea Mr. Nafziger was alive. Yeah, that was a really good one as well, wasn't it? Always somebody who's obscure Victorian history, died in the 19th century. He's got that kind of name, hasn't he? And yeah, and he's been around as long as, I've been a war gamer. And I'm sure the same with you, Andy. I mean, I'm not saying you're old, but I'm just thinking, it's his name has always been attached to things, and I was surprised he was still alive. Mind you, 2 hours talking to Ken, you're probably not alive much longer, to be fair. How do, Thomas? Good to have you on board. Working on a Lafley AMD 80 armoured car and Lorraine 38L. Didn't realise how the big AMDs. I don't even know what it is, so I'll agree with you. I know what the Lorraine is. Naval actions. You immediately can't be bothered with the freaking rigging. Oh, there goes my demonetisation. Yeah, well, no, actually, to be honest with you, that bit would be interesting, because I like rigging 1/4 scale aircraft, First World War ones. Drives me mad, but I do like it, the after effects of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's just something about the sea. I'm not bothered. Well, I like the sea, but I don't like people fighting on it. I don't know what it is. That said, I have been listening to Peter Hart and Gary Baines' podcast on the Battle of Jutland of late, and that's very, very interesting, because again, it's a part of the First World War I know bugger all about, so I'm learning. You're disappointed Napsik was American. Where would you think he was from? Miglord looked good. Looking forward to the release properly at Easter. Yeah, of course it's Easter. Well, Rich was saying, I think they're starting to do the layout, so it might not be that long actually before it's done. Because I know he was waiting to clear the decks of What a Cowboy before he could start moving on to other bits and pieces. So yeah, I think I don't think it'll be too long, but then that's always the way, isn't it? They say it's going to come sometime. I mean, I interviewed John at Partisan a couple of years ago, and he said What a Cowboy was going to be coming out that summer. Yeah, but that's the way it is. Right, so I'm nearly there with these. I'm just going to be a little bit neater, that's all. So it just means I've got to concentrate a little bit. But the good thing about these aircraft is you don't see the underside of them, so I'm not that fussed about how neat they are, as long as they've got a semblance of a colour on them. That's the most important thing, I think, and that's the thing that is required. I mean, don't look too close. But then that's the point, isn't it? They're 1/600 aircraft. You're not supposed to be looking really close at them. They're not display cabinet models. Eddie was Austrian and German. What an amazing person, though, listening to that episode. Yeah, he's a cracking bloke, and his books are fantastic. It's your first time watching these live? Good stuff. Big fan of the channel. Oh, thank you very much. Greetings from Washington, D.C. Good stuff, Roy. Good to have you on board. I've been to Washington. Didn't stop, though. Just drove through. I've seen the White House from afar, from the back of a car. Looking forward to the NAM releases by Battlefront. Okay, I don't know anything about those. The 15mm figures might be interesting though, because I've always had a bit of an askance eye on Charlie Don't Surf. I've got a copy of it, and I used to play Body Count, which I Ain't Been Shot Mum and Charlie Don't Surf were kind of written off the back of playing. But I've not done any Vietnam gaming for years. I used to love it when I was a kid because of it was around the time when a lot of the films were out, like Platoon and Full Metal Jacket and Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse Now a bit earlier, but more Platoon and Full Metal Jacket. I even wrote a Vietnam role-playing game when I was in my teens. I can't even remember what you did in it. Well, you went on patrol, basically. It wasn't. I don't think it was particularly historically accurate, but it was an attempt to do something. Rear axle belt, drill glue to melt shavings glued to your fingers. Oh, sure. Film my builds. You should. They sound great. Let me say, Steve, Body Count was your first historical game. It wasn't my first, but it was definitely an early one. The only thing I can remember, I think I found a PDF of it online. There's like various places you can download hooky old copies of old rules, and the only thing I can remember from it is the aircraft flying at nape of the earth. Don't have to wait for the battlefront. You can get Vietnam business scale today. Well, true. That's true. Peter Pig do a load. 3D content too. Bought resin figures and recently. Excellent. Yes, yeah, it's very true. Full Metal Jacket. The Battle of Way. It's filmed in Luton Duckyard. Hey, it works. It works. Great film. I watched it again. Relative release. Body Count had some really interesting tables in it. Yeah, it was full of tables, wasn't it? It was of its time. It was definitely of its time. I can remember having difficulty trying to work out how to play the VC though, because they were supposed to be off the table, weren't they? They were all supposed to be hidden enemy. I think it was supposed to do it with an umpire, and when we were nippers, we didn't really understand the idea of an umpire. It was like everybody should be playing the game, even though we were all role players. So we should have kind of understood it from that point of view. But yeah, really, I can't remember playing it, but I just can't remember how the game went at all. It's such a long time ago. Yeah, that's one. There we do. There we go. Cracking. There we go. That's the almost last one of them. Let's have a look. First war game. Use the rules in the Don Featherstone book. Oh, no spring chicken. Indeed. I don't know where I got this tango from, but it was in the fridge earlier and I was thirsty. It's not tea, but it'll do. Just remember not to dip me brush into it. Right, I'm just thinking. Right, the next thing to do then. I'm going to start the camouflage on these Blenheims. That's going to be the next thing to do. So I'm just going to get my little other window open here that I've got. That's got me a little picture of a Blenheim, so I can see the camouflage. I've found a profile of one. Colours I'm using, if you're interested. This is early RAF. It's not exact, but it's close enough. Flat earth for the brown, for the RAF brown, and then reflective green for the green camo. And then what I'm going to do is ink wash them in Nuln Oil, and then I will give them a very light dry brush again of the flat earth brown. Flat earth is the best named paint out there. Always makes me laugh. I've just got to find me reflective green though first of all. Brown violet, no. So many greens and browns. We should just have one. Paint everything in one colour. And yeah, it's not an exact colour, but because they're so small, I kind of want them slightly lighter than you would normally do these, and they look close enough and good enough for me, for my needs and my wants. You got some 10mm stuff off the wife and some for the birthday. Been busy the last 2 or 3 days 3D printing more Huey LVPT sampans, hoochies, and sorting all your plastic plants out. Good stuff. Excellent. Plastic plants go a long way, especially in Vietnam. What with Water Cowboy going on, I'll be watching loads of old westerns. Watched 2 today. Some real shockers out there. What did you watch? What were bad? There's some great ones as well, though, isn't there? The reworking of True Grit by the Coen brothers is fantastic. I rewatched that myself a little while ago. Any tips for dulling down plastic plants to make them less plastic long? Spray them. Spray them in green. just paint them. What I did is I just give them a wash, a dark brown wash, but I would probably, nowadays, I'd probably just get a dark green spray and just give them a spray. They'll be fine. And then just give them a very light dry brush of yellow, just to bring them back out again. I think that's what I would recommend. I'm sure there's others in the audience who'll tell you something different. Carl says, evening, sorry you're late. Your name is going down on the register. Alex, anyone else? Are you a fan of mud? I mean, ME? Miniatures that look dirty. Yes, all my vehicles are always weathered. Love a good bit of weathering. Steve's Africa core stuff, the weathering on that, it looks fantastic. I'm a big fan of weathering. The more the weather, the better. The Japanese plane name's a literal translation of Tang. You asked this last time, and I thought I answered it, but you probably didn't see it. Always wondered, used to make me laugh as a kid. Cool names like Spitfire, Dead Betty. Yeah, it was Allied code names. So the zero is can't remember what the name of it. Hayosha or something like that. That's the Japanese name for it. And it's something like, it's like swallow or something like that, some kind of bird. I can't remember. Somebody will tell us. I could look it up for you, but yeah, the Allies just gave them code names, so that's why you got Bettys and Sallys. I think it's female names for multi-engined and male names for single engine. So the Zero was also known as a Zeke, but most people know it as a Zero. Ending of Fun Figures is one of your favourite Western scenes. Scene starts when Eastwood walks into the bar with a shotgun. I've not seen Unforgiven for a long time, but yeah, I remember it being a good film. The Last Challenge with Glenn Ford and Chisholm with John Wayne. Classic stuff. Get off your horse and drink your milk. Doing 10mm for Charlie Don't Surf. Currently painting 10mm Desert Rats. Quarter Pattern Desert Mark 1 Crusaders and Vickers light tanks soon. I take the Egypts in a pale wash. Sand and dry brush indeed. Oh, no worries, Steve. Less is more with the desert weathering. Yeah, it certainly looks great. That's the beauty of 25mm tanks and things. I don't bother with doing that kind of weathering on a 15mm because you don't really see it. I do it on 1/35 scale tanks and stuff because that's the fun part. I've got a couple of tanks actually sitting in this stash behind me. Anything with John Wayne, thumbs up. Love Unforgiven, one of your favourite westerns. I'm guessing they're like the Soviet Foxbat and Flogger US nicknames. Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. Is Charlie Surf not any good? That's a question I can't answer. I've got it, I've read it, and I've played I Ain't Been Shot one, which it is similar to, but it has Vietnam era differences in it. Like the Americans have to get political power to be able to basically drop artillery missions on Vietnamese villages and things, and it's all about winning hearts and minds as well. So it's very different to the Second World War version. Well, to I Ain't Been Shot one. But I've not played it, but I can kind of see how it plays. Even Green Beret, Searchers, Major Dundee. Basing system, I can tell you that is anything you want really. It's done. The smallest unit is a section, 8, 9, 10 men. You can either base individual or you can base them multiple, how you want. Right, cheers, John. Thanks for popping in. Always appreciate it. I hope you're getting away from work early. I've got a nice long weekend coming up because it's the bank holiday, isn't it, this weekend? Monday is a bank holiday, so I'm going to take Friday off. So I've got some toil built up. So I'm going to have a nice long 4-day weekend, which is great. So I'm going to finish, hopefully I'm going to try to finish off filming my What a Cowboy campaign that I've been working through. I'm already up to episode 3 or scenario 3. I did that on Saturday before Partisan. Don't forget, folks, if you're out there, say hello. If you're watching and lurking, I know there's always lurkers out there. Don't be shy. I missed your earlier answer. Always wondered about it. Yeah, I saw just as I was logging off last time. I saw your question come up, Paul, and I put it into the chat, but I think it probably disappeared by that point. But yeah, it's an interesting little facet of the war. The KI number is I think it's Shotai, which is Kotai, I think it is, and it's a Japanese word for airframe. So like KI-15 is airframe 15 kind of thing. Hateful Eight is a good Western film. Yes, it is. It is a great film, actually. You're based on individual pennies. Yeah, the only thing I would have said with probably basing them individually, because I played I Ain't Been Shot Mum, and you're moving a lot of figures about, because it's platoon, isn't it? You basically activate a platoon. I would say probably put some on multiple bases, and then use individuals for casualty removal and things, just because you'll end up moving lots and lots of individual figures, and that can take a long time. I've found that. So when I play A and B Shot Mum, I'll have a section of, say 8 men, with a few of them on a multiple bases, a couple of 3 figure bases, and then just a couple of extra individuals. You can just move them about and stuff. Beans. Blazing Saddles. I was waiting for somebody to bring it up. How do, Richard? Good to have you on board. You're not actually the game, but I think it's not dissimilar to being shot more. I worked out my basing yet. A lot of games are fairly basing agnostic. There, exactly indeed. Just need to finish some old West Terrain Scout before we start playing Wild Cowboy. Excellent, good stuff. You actually don't need a great deal of stuff, to be honest. You just need some. You don't need any buildings or anything like that. Because if you play the campaign through, you start on the outskirts anyway, and it's like out in the desert, or we might need 1 building, and that's about it. And it's been designed with that in mind, so you can be building stuff up as you're playing the first couple of scenarios of a campaign. I mean, I certainly didn't. So I just had a couple of the buildings that I'd got, and now I've got Lardville ready to go. World War II stuff is 321 for 25mm square bases, magnetised to squad tabos. Yeah, that'll work perfectly. That'll work great for I Ain't Been Shot Mum. So you can then take off the ones, the individuals. How's the Wild Cowboy campaign going? I'm going to be running one at my club soon, so I'm interested now it's gone. Good, very good. There's a minimum amount of paperwork at the end of it, but you start to get attached to your characters, which is nice. And you start to see them grow as well, and then they get shot, and you get really upset about it. But yeah, it is. So far, it's been balanced. I'll not tell you, but I've played 3, and it's been one side has won 2 games, and one side has won 1 game. So far, it's been balanced enough, and the different levels of character just add a lot of different interest to it as well, and fun. And coming up with the names is half the fun as well. Loads of spare flames of war bases you could use. Yeah, you need more miniatures now. You never need an excuse to buy more. Should try 6mm base in Alta Freedom by the brigade. Use 34 figs per week. I'll beat you on that. I've got for Blucher. I base 64 figures for a brigade. For me, British and French 100 days armies. So mine are double your sizes. Speaking of which, I was actually thinking about having a game of Blucher at some point, so I've not played it for ages. Last time I played it was down at the club. So I might break that out. Maybe even this weekend. Film a game. You never know what might happen. Shane is your favourite cowboy movie. I've never watched that one, I don't think. Still think that cowboy games need tumbleweed, maybe with their own movements. Yeah, yeah, you could do that with the that's teddy bear stuff in. What's the other stuff? Horsehair. Could easily make a load of tumbleweed with horsehair. It depends where you're setting them, though, doesn't it? I mean, the Italian movies have got a lot to answer for when it comes to how people feel what the Old West looks like. So I like Red Dead Redemption because it's not all in a desert. Some of it is, some of it isn't. Never tried Blucher. How's it compare with GDA? Playing White this Friday. It's such a good laugh. I'll come back to your question in a sec. 3D printer Western Buildings looks excellent. Great companion to the MDF options. Yeah. Blucher. Well, I'm not. I've only played GDA once, and I mean they're both very different in level and the way they handle the forces. So GDA is a little bit more granular, I would say. Blucher is more abstract. I like Blucher a lot because of that abstraction. It feels like you're moving large numbers of large blocks of things around. It doesn't bother itself with what formations are actually in there. You just basically the units are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Reminds you of the old pen and paper RPG Boot Hill. Yeah, I think a few people have said that. Scott says, cheers for the chat. Phone about to die. Well, see you later. Cheers, Grant. Thanks for that. Thank you very much. The work was already done, to be honest, with those Western buildings. We just had to add a few bits and pieces, and it's all dry brushing. I was sorting out my backlog of videos the other day because one of them is the I did a tutorial on the Western buildings, and I've got videos going all up to September now, so I wouldn't have to make another video now, and I'd still have one video a week coming out until September. But don't you worry, I'm not going to rest on my laurels. I'm going to keep making them, putting them in the pile, getting them set ready to release. Right, now we've got to move on to the old. This is a different camo scheme on these bad boys. These Wildebeest. But yeah, tonight what I want to do actually, I think Irish John, sorry I missed the start. We'll watch from the beginning at the end. Good stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the camouflage on these tonight, because I think any more than that, because the next thing is painting the numbers in, and that's going to really do my brain in. So I might just paint the camouflage on these first, and then I think I'll leave it at that. But this is going to take a while anyway. We'll see how we go. I'd actually got a house out as well, building out, that I've been meaning to work on for a while, that I was going to do tonight, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think I'll get to it. There's still quite a lot to do in it, so I kind of want to do it as a thing on its own. But yeah, my big thing. The big thing this week is just getting these aircraft finished, and then, as I was saying at the start, I can actually buy myself the Battle of Britain ones. As I say, it's going to be like 18 of each of the aircraft, which is a lot to paint, but should be interesting and good. Sounds Blue Chris similar to Ultra Feeder. Yeah, I think some people have said that. Designed for the bigger battles of the ACW. 800 Days had similar size encounters. Yeah, it did. Blue Key can play, it can go all the way up to Borodino and things as well. But yeah, so the smallest movement element of movement in Blucher is a brigade. But you can scale it up or down as well. That's the thing. You don't have to have it as a brigade. The game stays the same. It's just that that's what it's designed for, and that's what most people play it as. It's a scope of conflict with your light base. Yeah, I agree with you. I was always a big fan of the big game and the high level game, should I say, rather than the big game. That's why I played a lot of Rapid Fire, because that was inverted commas battalion level. I mean, it's not really, it's more like company level, but I always thought I wasn't particularly interested in skirmish gaming, and then Chain of Command came along and sorted that out for me. But yes, I do always like the larger scale stuff. It's what we used to play when we were kids. All my issue figures, we used to have millions of them mounted on Evening Rich, steel pickers. We were just talking about you earlier with Midgard. Waiting for an Easter release for Midgard. I hope you've recovered from parties and you didn't do yourself any more injuries. But yeah, when I found Chain of Command, that kind of changed my my whole view of wargaming, to be honest, and what level of wargaming I liked. I suppose that's the way things work, isn't it? You find something you like. Yeah, you see, that's what happens. You see, when you set your attack dogs on me on Twitter, you know, a man expresses a little bit of like for concrete, and then you damn him like that. So you're gonna get it right back at you. It's your own fault. But also, I want to torture Paul a bit more as well. That's why I want to get the Battle of Britain stuff, because I know it upsets him doing some of these aircraft. So I want to do more than make him work for his money. Dance monkey. How's everyone else's stuff coming along tonight? All right, or is it slow? As slow as these are. Because the next thing to do after I've ink washed and dry brushed them is I'm going to have to decal them, and I'm using the flight deck decals, and unfortunately you've got to cut each one of those out individually. So that takes a long time, and at 1/600 scale, that's a lot of tiny things to cut out. There we go. Finish my drink. No 7-year war old wants to be a mere lieutenant. I'm general charge. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. If you're not in charge of everybody, what's the point? Yeah, I think the last game of Bluecry I played was down the club. We had Austrians versus French. I took some of my French down. Paul was using some Austrians that he'd printed and painted. A good game. We've not played it since then. That was ages ago. You're going okay. Base coats are always time consuming. It is, isn't it? ACW is always slow. Batch painting 6 bases, 12 figures. A lot easier to paint than your late war Germans, I'll bet. How goes Operation Market Garden? OSC, I'm assuming that's PSC, and Pacific Theatre expansion for Chain of Command. See, that's the problem, Richard, when you turn up on these things. Everyone's got questions for you. Where's the Far East supplement? It'll be out in Easter, along with everything else. Midgard next, I bet. Should get him back on the stream so you can all ask him the same questions again. I always say that. I've had these on the desk for a few days, and I've been fearful of starting them because there was so bloody many of them. I did the zeros earlier. There was 36 aircraft sitting looking at me, waiting for PVA to dry, and it's quite intimidating, you know, when they're all just sitting there unpainted. I mean, come on, painters, especially when they're all different as well. It's not like you can just wick through them. But I did the zeros earlier because they were dead easy. You're painting American Indians. I painted some of those earlier, actually, 15mm though. Gas truck built, building 2 Commerce Millets now, and aiming to build an FT17 tonight. FT17 tonight, excellent. Good stuff. Yeah, I painted some of the Peter Pig 15mm Indians because Paul gave me some henchman bases in 15mm as an experiment. Got them off him at Partisan, so I painted those up ready for the engine attack. I've been told that now would be a good time to insert an advert, but I'm not going to, so I'll spare you that. I'll spare you an advert. See, aren't I good to you? Well, bloody hell, 48 people are watching. All I'm doing is painting Wildebeest. Don't you have homes to go to? Native Americans, indeed. Oathmark Elves, you needed a change. Well, we all need a change once in a while. A change is as good as a rest. So yeah, I might have a look around, see if I can find some Japanese shipping, and we can do some torpedo attacks on Japanese boats with these wildebeests. That'll be good, and then get them mauled by a load of Oscars, because that's always fun. Yeah, Richard, while you're here, actually, in their finest hour, the supplement for Bag the Hun. Why is there so many bloody aircraft in it? Why is there hundreds? American Rifle Platoon is slowly growing on your desk. Excellent. Mold lines and Perry miniatures kill the time effectively. They do. There's millions of airplanes. And since you're here, you can answer these questions. The people want to know. Hold on, I'm nearly there, folks. Yeah, what I might do is, I don't know. I'll give it a few minutes. I might be able to let these dry, and then I can actually give them a quick ink wash as well. Start to make your own decals, 28mm medieval figures. Works well if on lighter background, especially for flags. Okay. You have to get a special paper for that, Terry. I suppose you do decal paper, don't you? And what are you printing them on, like an inkjet printer or something? A friend of mine did it. He, for my 40th, he built me a Soviet building, and he put a big Second World War Soviet transfer on the side, poster. He did that with decal paper, and then kind of scratched it off. It's great. It's a really good, amazing piece of work. But he's got a laser jet printer because he works as a graphic designer. So I think he did it on that rather than the inkjet. That's the right word. Yeah, what I might do is, if I get these, I'm going to give these a wash of Nuln oil before I finish tonight, and then they'll be dry tomorrow, and I can finish them off, or do the next portion of them. Yeah, you can get paper for either an inkjet or laser printer. Yeah. So I'm amazed at how small the flight deck decals are for the 1600 stuff. Incredible amount of detail on them. You're organising your board game counters while having a morning coffee.
Waiting for a daylight before painting some US Paras for normally in 20mm. Panzer Shrek Pete, good stuff. Whereabouts are you, Panzer Shrek Pete, if you're having morning coffee? I'm assuming somewhere in the US. Sounds like a nice day ahead if that's what you're doing. Try doing your own decals and they just shrivel into a wad when getting wet. Maybe it's the paint. Sorry, not the paint, the paper you're using wasn't good. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these dry off because they're drying quick, and then I'm going to give them all an ink wash, and then that means at some point tomorrow I can give them a quick dry brush and then move on to the other bits and pieces, all the last bits of detail. I want these done by the weekend and cleared off. That's the plan. Oh, New Zealand. Wow, blimey. The other side of the world. Right. See there, you folks. You should never assume. Right, that's them painted. You need to spray varnish the decals before using. There you go. And now I'm drilling holes with a drawdle in these trays. Tedious. Next time I'm waiting Warsby. Yeah, they're good wall bases. They do loads of bespoke stuff, and they go out of their way as well to help you out with things. I think it's great. They're a really good service, and they're quick as well, which is good. Which is always good. Anyone familiar with World War II Operation Dragoon? Nope. Is it a game? Is it an actual operation? I don't know it. Right. Let's get some nulning doing. Time for the nulns. So I'm not using this neat. I'm just watering it down a little bit, just to give it a bit less of a starkness, but good enough to get into the panel lines and things. And just down by the sides of the roots of the wings and stuff like that. That's the idea anyway. And then that stuff will be left over when I come to give them a quick dry brushing later. And in this heat, to be honest, these will probably won't take very long at all to dry. But I'll leave them till tomorrow. You know, Southern France landings. Biggest change for you was moving from 15 to 28. Complexity of painting increases, but the quantity decreases as well. No more 500 model armies. There you go, Med Theatre operation. There you go, some of you have heard of it. Why'd you ask anyway, Thomas? The project you're working on at the moment? Or were you just interested in it? Actual operation called Second D-Day. There you go. No, my knowledge of the Western stuff for the Second World War is quite limited. Eastern Front I know a lot more about. What was that? There you go. Yeah, Southern France. I hope everybody's pressed that like button. You better have.
or you'll get put on the list, on the dislike list. Love these little Blenheims, they're great things. Looking forward to getting them into a game. I want to take Bag the Hun down the club one night. Soon. I'm not sure when though. It's always good for a multiplayer game. There's always a lot going on. I see Richard scuttled off when I was asking him difficult questions about a thing that's released 15 years ago. Go for it painting. Hello. Hello. Military Museum near Austin showcases Texas military units during World War II. The 6th US Division, a host annual wargaming event. The same focus as the museum. Oh, that's good. Is it well attended? There's some very good military museums in the States. The one I wish I'd gone to was a D-Day one. He gave me an answer. No, I didn't see it. Have a look back. No, you didn't. Maybe it was in your head. Last thing you were talking about was your Indians. Thought you could write a chain of command that fits the bill. Give it a go. No, you didn't. Yeah, I couldn't see. Couldn't you see your answer in the comments, Richard? Unless it was being censored by YouTube. Specsavers. Well, look back through the comments. I can't see it. Cut it and paste it. Don't blame me that you didn't press return or whatever it was. Nothing to do with me. So yeah, I'm just going to think you're avoiding the question. You're avoiding the answer. The question with the answer. You have to cut it and paste it and put it back in again. Even though I'm ink washing the undersides of these, I'm not going to dry brush them or anything. But they're still nice and weathered, even if they are. I'm looking back through the nope, nothing there. So Specsavers yourself. Check twice now. But yeah, I don't put decals on the other side of these as well. I think I was saying, because it's just a waste of time. Nobody's looking on the underside of these tiny aircraft. You can only see them from above. And it just uses up the decals. Why bother? Why bother? I just reposted it. Apparently it's been censored, as they're called. Nick name based on his wall. There you go. Yeah, he hasn't come up again. I don't think I've got a censoring on here, so it must be something automatic from YouTube. Well, you'll have to take that word out.
I said blame Nick. He deals with planes, not my territory. Although my dad did fly by lems. Yeah, of course you don't like planes, do you? Want to be played has to leave because of early shift. See you later. Well, I'm not going to last much longer once I've got the null oil on these bad boys anyway. So thanks for checking the stream out. Good to have you on board. Hope you paint everything that your heart desires. Blame Nick. Useless answer. Then what would you expect? Oh, I'm at that point where I kind of feel I wish I'd not started this, because I've still got another bloody 8 of these to do now. But I want to finish. I'm knackered today. I was up really early for some reason. Woke up at shit o'clock. I've not been able to wake up since. So normally after about an hour or so of painting I lose concentration anyway. So the cat was behind me. Oh, she is. She's staring at me from the other side of the room. Little silent killer. Yeah. Well, I think I broke the 50 viewer realm tonight. By the looks of things. Bloody dog. Too much blood in the caffeine stream. Yeah, I think so. It's the dog that woke you up, was it? Yeah. Thankfully it wasn't the cats that woke me up, I just bloody woke up. Can't help it sometimes, can you? I think it's just because he was really hot as well. It just suddenly seems to have come on, doesn't it? I still had the heating on the other week, and now it just feels like we're right in the middle of summer. Roasting. Even more hotter up here. You and your bloody wife. Evening, Dom. Good to have you on board. You will soon feel a second breath, mate, before you know it be 11:15. You're obsessed with keep making me stay up, Louis. Not going to happen. Well, maybe one of these days. Do a 24-hour painting session. Imagine that. God, that'd be horrible. I couldn't even think after about 2 hours. I know it's kind of depend on what you're painting. Your man from Goobertown Hobbies, he did it a few years ago, didn't he? I think he painted a load of goblins or something over 24 hours from beginning to end. I mean, there's better things in life. Come on, man. Why punish yourself? You won't catch Bear Grylls doing that kind of thing, would you? Northern summer. Yeah, wrecking out the lard and balaclavas soon. Absolute. It's your day off. Hey. Yeah. Everybody likes lard and balaclavas. Get yourself down to the beach in your suit. I've got a photograph of my granddad. Well, I've not got it, but my mum's got a photograph of my granddad on the beach in the 50s, and he's in a full suit with waistcoat and everything. In the middle of summer, just sitting on his beach. Brilliant. Oh, different times.
At the end, he was painting his cat. Could see him up with some other 24-hour relay paint and chat. Yeah. I think it has been it's been mooted a couple of times. Yes, I wouldn't want to do like the 3 o'clock in the morning shift. Got to keep your strength up for MFA show tonight. A really good guest, so you hear. Ah, are you on there? Are you? Oh, what time do you start at, Andy? 9 o'clock, I'm assuming. If that's the case, I will definitely clear off by then, so everybody can go over and watch that. I'll probably not watch it tonight, Andy, but I'll certainly watch it in the catch-up. This is assuming that you're the guest. Did you see the guys down at Salute, did you? Hello, Tiny. Come on. Your audience awaits. Come here. Look. Ah, 21:30. Yeah, probably a bit too late for me. Here's Tiny, look. If nothing else, that she should get the likes, if nothing else. That'll double the likes up, won't it, kiddo? Just pass off the overnight shift, the Aussies and the Kiwis. Yes, good idea. Yeah, work it out so it's it fits in with people's daylight hours. Yeah, the guys at Modelling for Advantage always do a live stream late on, don't they? Yes, I'll. So then, in that case, everybody should jump over to Modelling for Advantage's channel after they've finished watching this. That'll be a good one, that. And speaking of that, there you go. I think that's the last one. Yes, that's the last one. So worldwide hobby, 3 AM isn't 3 AM everywhere, absolutely. Funnily if I missed them at Salute. Yeah, I didn't see them at Salute. I figured they must have been there though, because it's relatively close to them, isn't it, I think. He painted for a whole demon army for Warhammer in a day. It went on for about 16 hours, almost killed you, never again, life's too short. Yeah, exactly. Playing the cute kitten card, yep. YT bonus points, absolutely. Only do it for the clicks. Right, I think I'm going to leave it at that, folks. There you go, that's giving you a good hour and a quarter of some... I've got quite a lot done there, so I've got the Wildebeest and the Blenheims done. There's still quite a bit to do on these, so probably next couple of days I think these will be finished. So I've got to paint the numbers on the bases, I've got to tidy everything up, do some more details and things on them, but for the most part they are, and I'll do the decals as well of course, but for the most part they are done. I've done a big, that was a big shift on them, which is good. So thanks for accompanying me while I did that. Very much appreciated, and thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's nice to see everybody here, and also a good number of audience as well. So thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. I'm not sure when the next one will be. Probably next week, I would have thought. I don't think I've got anything on next Tuesday. Just turn that bit off there. But thanks a million, and I shall see you all when I see you all. See yous.